All right, and we're back. So I've gone ahead and I've outlined my outer perimeter, the border, which is 1 inch, in some Sharpie markers so that it's a little bit easier to see in the video. And then I've gone ahead and also made my 1.5 inch increments along each edge. So just want to review how you're going to make those measurements. Again, using the ruler, I'm going to take the left edge of that ruler where the 0 would be represented. I'm going to line it up with my border line. I'm going to go over to the 1, and then halfway between 1 and 2, there's a nice big line indicating 1.5 inches. I'm going to take my pencil, put a little dot. Then I'm going to add 1.5 to 1.5 inches. If we had $1.50 plus $1.50, that gives us $3. So we're over at 3 inches now. I'm going to put a mark, and then I'm going to continue on to 4.5. From 4.5, I'll go to 6 inches, 6 inches to 7.5 inches, from 7.5 to 9, 9 to 10.5, 10.5 to 12. We'll go ahead and do that on each side of our border, marking on the inside edge so that we keep the outer edge of our border nice and clean. And then, like we said, since we're doing the fisheye lens, we're going to start by connecting the center points, and we'll have a nice crosshair, and then from there we're going to start to warp the design out on all sides so that it's almost like a sphere or a marble is bursting through this image. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mark, or I'm going to count over. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means 1, 2, 3, number 4, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and play connect the dots again. You've done this before, so we're just going to connect those 2 points with our ruler. I'm going to draw a line up with my marker. Be careful not to draw into the border too much, especially if you're heavy-handed. That could look kind of sloppy in the end. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to go 5 down on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's play connect the dots. Counting again to make sure I've got everything correct. Definitely don't want to spend all the time to measure out these points and then connect the wrong one. That would be a really big bummer. Okay, so we've got our crosshairs in the middle. Now the rest of my design is going to be pretty much free-handed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this line to this line, but we're going to make it warp out a little bit in the middle here. So here we go. You're going to be doing this in pencil. I have the disadvantage of trying to do this in Sharpie marker. So if I mess up, just keep in mind that you'll be doing it in pencil. Hold your pencil nice and light, so if you need to make corrections, you can do that. So here we go. I'm going to kind of look at this for a second to get myself prepared. I also like to do something called air drawing. This is going to kind of give me, actually, you know what? Let's do this in pencil first. That's going to make it a lot easier. So I'm going to lightly sketch straight lines first, and then I'm going to start to warp this out. I'm very loose with this. And I'm going to do the next set on the right side of my crosshair so that I can try and keep this symmetrical, meaning the same on both sides. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and even smooth out that transition from where it bows out and then enters into the straight part. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to go one above and one below the cross too. I'm going to sneak across here so that I can draw it a little bit easier. Nice light marks, straight lines out first, and then we'll begin to warp our design. There we go. Now we're going to move on to the next one, and this time the change is going to be a little bit more gradual. So don't extend your line quite as far in on either side. I'm going to reduce that a little bit. Let's go above here, same thing. Make it a little bit shorter. Now we're going to connect that up like this. I'm going to slowly start to smooth that out. Okay, we've got 2 above, 2 below, 1 on each side. Let's go ahead and do the next ones on the side. Same thing, this came down to here straight. Let's do half of that this time. Only go down to there, Down here, we're gonna do the same. We'll stop right there. Here we go. Now let's play connect the dots. I'm gonna cut in front of you again. Nice and loose. Just like that. All right, looking good. Okay, now we just have one more. We're gonna, again, half that measurement for the verticals. And you're gonna notice this one is almost perfectly straight. We're just gonna kinda warp it in just a little bit. Okay, here we go. So the idea is that this is kind of rounding out here, and then above, it's also rounding out. So we've got this much distance of straight line here. Let's go half of that in the middle. Just go to about there, and then this one we're gonna do half as well. So we can half this down to there, and then this one's gonna be even shorter. Let's do that here as well, half, and then half a half. Half of this is probably about that far out, and then we'll just do a little guy there. All right, let's start at the bottom. Gently arch that one down. And then this one's almost straight with just a little bit of a curve. It's gonna go over to this side. Again, we're gonna gently curve, and then just a really subtle little curve there. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put all this in Sharpie for you so you can see what it looks like. Bam, that looks great. Next. And since we're gonna be sketching this lightly, we'll obviously come back later with an eraser, kind of clean up our edges of our units so that they don't look sloppy, and then we'll start transferring our image from the gridded photograph. Here we go. Just a few more lines and we're ready to start transferring. All right, we're gonna go on either side on the vertical units. Now, if I was working at a table, I would probably turn my paper. I find that it's easier to create straight lines horizontally, but I think we can make this work. And remember, we want to strive for perfection, but settle for close enough most of the time. Don't get too crazy about getting things perfect. But this looks pretty good. So now we've got our fisheye, and in class on the document camera, I'm going to do a demonstration about how we can break down each of these individual cells to make transferring your image much easier. Now I just want to point out on our worksheet, this is a really great example of the fisheye. This is the musician Bob Dylan. You can see in the original photograph, his face has no distortion, and the fisheye is actually gonna kind of push things out and distort and stretch some of his features like his nose and his eye. And again, like I said, we'll be going over in class how to transfer the shapes, and then I'm gonna give you some tools, questions that you can ask yourself, such as, is this area lighter or darker than this area? And then also we can take a look at, is this shape lighter or larger or smaller than this shape? Really simple questions like that will do a lot to guide us through the drawing and show us exactly what types of changes we need to make. All right, thanks for watching along with me, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys make. Peace.